What's happened, ladies and gents? Finals fever is upon us in the AFL. So we are going to do an impromptu live, just run through last week's games, then into this week's games. We've got a special guest, which is always good. I'm going to get Saucy in, as usual. We'll try and get him to jump in, have a chat. Bounty breaks, what's happening? We haven't done a live in ages, it's been so long. Let's see if I can... For some reason I can't invite, which is not great. Oh, here we go. Bang. Get these legends in. Oh,
Right, man. How are ya?
Hey, mate.
What's going on?
100 times better looking in here since you joined, and now 200 times better looking because Sauce is in here.
1,000 times better looking.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh,
Volume up. What's going on, Butters? What's going on, mate? Welcome.
Oh, look who's in. DeVille.
Oh, no. Good. I actually rushed home from work because Saucy couldn't do it later. So I was like, I've been on site all day. So I'm committed to it. I'm committed to the boys.
I love it. The passion.
The passion for the badge.
So if you don't know Butters is at the Butters Collection. Has got an awesome AFL collection of cards. Very knowledgeable in the AFL space as well. He's taught me a few things, that's for sure. We've had a few...
Don't overpump the tyres.
No, I can. I'll tell you what, his in-depth analysis is going to be way better than mine.
Christ.
Maybe not Saucy's, unless we're talking Essendon. So,
the Dons.
Yeah, which are shambles. But we'll get straight into it. I know Butters is going to have a lot of people that follow his account jumping in, dropping some comments. Feel free to drop...
So disgusting. I'm actually very nervous.
drop some questions in, hit the question mark button and ask us some stuff to do with finals footy this week. But we will start with the games that happened over the weekend. And we'll start with the Friday night spectacular, which was the Brisbane Lions defeating Melbourne at the G, 92-79. Butters, I'm going to throw to you. Give us your thoughts on this one. Were you just as surprised as everyone else?
Melbourne fumbled the bag. They fumbled it so incredibly hard. They beat the Lions like 4 weeks ago by 80 points at the Gabba, and they couldn't get it done after losing their qualifier. I think it's just a big, massive L. And then after that, just a bit of salt in the wounds. Luke Jackson, of course, like the worst kept secret ever, requests a trade out of Melbourne. So it's been a bit of a horror week for the D's, I think. But the game in general was good. It was a good watch. The first half was pretty slow from memory, and then I wasn't really looking because I was in the draft. Do you boys do draft stars? I'd like 14 draft stars. I wasn't even watching, so I was just like literally looking at the stats. But then I came home and watched the second half, and I don't know, it turned into a bit of a shootout. And I thought that if it was going to become a shootout, the D's would reign supreme. But the Lions is too good.
Saucy, your thoughts?
Yeah, look, surprised me. Danaher obviously laid out. You thought that would have been a big factor. But Eric Hipwood stepped up to the plate and was able to, take reins in. You had the ruckman. I can't remember. I don't know his name because he hasn't played too much, but he stepped up in place of Big O, who obviously copped the concussion the week before. And maybe this is the Brisbane, story that we need. Butters called it. He shared the post that he said for them to win the flag. And are they going to do it a bit like the Doggies? Maybe not coming from 8th, but coming from 5th outside the top 4. That's obviously against the odds. They fumbled the bag at the end of the season to miss out on the top 4 themselves. They've done some soul searching leading into finals, and it looks as though they've come good, and they're playing a good brand of football. And it's exciting to see, their pressure game is right up there, and they're not afraid to take the game on. When the game is there to be won against Melbourne, they took their chances, and they were able to take off those risky kicks inside to the middle to open up the fat side of the ground and switch it over. it was a good watch, and credit to them. I thought the D's were going to win. Obviously, Butters mentioned the big thumping towards the end of the season, and then obviously playing on their MCG, their home deck. I don't know. Brisbane.
I think the big winner coming out of Friday
dangerous
as well. I think the big winner is Chris Fagan. I think he's one of the best coaches in the league, and unfortunately, he hasn't been able to replicate that in finals. So I'm happy that the Lions are actually stepping up to the plate and making Chris Fagan look like the very well qualified coach he is. Because I don't know, like missing out on the 4 after potentially they should have been in a grand final, losing in a home prelim to the Dogs. Wait, was it a home prelim? No, it wasn't. It was a semi, wasn't it? Well, they lost a home final.
When? Last year?
Yeah, last year. Was that a
No,
prelim or a semi?
Prelim. That was
Yeah. So at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm happy for Chris Fagan. I'm happy that he's getting the delights that he deserves.
Well, I'll look like a fool because I said before the final series started that Brisbane had absolutely no chance and they'd lose to Richmond and that'd be it. And
I thought they were going to get pants by Richmond as well. And
Yeah.
then Melbourne were paying $1.20 for a good reason. So
yeah.
it just goes to show.
Oh, it was a semi. Yeah, that's why
It was
Butters
a
is
semi.
his
Yeah, I
cup.
thought it was a semi. Because then Port Adelaide, what the hell that was. But yeah.
Adam says, up the Lions, always a dark horse. Oh, they've been favourites the last few years. It could work.
Dark horse this year because obviously not locking up the top 4 spot and getting those home finals.
Well, yeah. Let's quickly get into the next one. The next one was the Pies against the Dockers. I think everyone knew the outcome of this game before the ball was bounced. The Pies got the job done, 79-59. Good win for the Pies, and they move on to the prelim this week. Thoughts?
Probably the worst final, I think. I didn't watch it like intensely, but it just seemed like the Pies were in front with 30 points the whole way through. And maybe that's me being selfish from all the other great games that have been in the finals. But yeah, they got it done. I thought the Pies might have been a bit sore because I watched the entirety of the qualifying finals, so it was a pretty brutal game. And I thought maybe the Pies might get a little bit unstuck because Freo, like, even though they had come back from behind, it was a bit bruise-free compared to the brand that the Pies and the Cats are playing. So good to see them get it done. Nicky Dacos, too good.
Is it going?
Are you pumped for his Optimum cards, mate? Are you pumped for his
No,
Optimum cards
I'm
on
not.
release?
I am pumped. I'm not pumped. They're going to come out spicy hot, like Indian on a Friday night, Saturday morning kind of hot.
Might have to just go hit some breaks up, mate, and just get the fires. They'll cost half the box, mate.
Yeah. That's the good thing about it. Like the fact that there's so much hype surrounding that particular card, it's going to fare really well for box prices because, like, if there's the potential of a Nick Dacos Platinum, then it's like anywhere between. I'm assuming it's going to start around like the $2,000 mark. It'll be a bit of a Mexican standoff, but yeah, like 1.5 settling. It's like not out of the possibility.
That's crazy. That's insane.
Yeah,
Crazy. Very, very, very good in that game. Dockers did start it the way they started against the Dogs. They just got pantsed early. They couldn't do anything. That's pretty much sums them up in the finals. Logue, Tucker, looks like they're on their way out potentially to North. So I'm not going to say no to Griffin Logue. Tucker, who knows where he's at.
North by Moneyball.
Yeah, exactly. It's Nick Dacos, not Rick Dacos, Card Messiah. There's a few people that have joined that I'm quite concerned with some of the stuff, like you said, Butters, at the top of the 5, some of the comments that may come out of their mouths. Saucy, your thoughts on this one?
One thing I will say is shout out David Mundy on a great career, obviously officially retired, a Fremantle great. I'm not going to comment too much. I really can't. I only caught highlights of this because unfortunately that evening I had to attend a wedding, so was a bit busy and tied up. So it was just checking in on scores. But I was confident that Collingwood would get the win. They're riding high, and let's see what they can do this week coming up against the Swans.
Well, let's get to that one. So Swans versus the Pies. Butters, give us a bit of an insight what you think might happen and your tip in this one.
I'm seeing a lot of Ricky Dacos, and I think Ricky Dacos gets tagged again by the Swans. They shut him down the last time they played up there and worked a treat. You can't believe how much influence a first-year player can have off that half-back flank line and the creation.
His ball use is just so clean, and
it's
the
disgusting.
way
It's
one
disgusting.
gathers, and he's crafty with his hands, isn't he, Butters? So
very crafty.
It gives him elite first ball use off the back line, which, we know that if you can get that out from the half back through the middle of the ground and it's clean, you're going to set yourself up for that rebound goal that Collingwood has, been firing on all guns all year. Rebound goal from their 50.
Well, they've shown that they just want to go up the middle of the ground all the time. Like, I was watching a little bit of the Freo game, and they were going up the middle at all costs, whether it results in a direct turnover to goal or not. They just want to take the game on. It's exciting footy. But you also just can't underestimate the old stars versus the future young stars, like the Pendlebury, who I think's had a really good final series, versus the new stars like Chad Warner. I think he's been very impressive this year, and he's probably their most dangerous mid. So it'll be interesting to see what both sides do with lineups and who goes to who, but it should be a great game. Hopefully the weather holds up.
Yeah, hopefully. One thing to take out of it, I don't see Warner, Buddy, and Heaney having two bad games in a row.
Yeah,
especially Heaney and Buddy, who were completely missing in the last.
Buddy was deplorable. He was that is the worst game I've ever seen Buddy play.
And look, I will give a bit of a reprieve for Heaney. He did cop very early in the game, pretty much a busted nose, so he was bleeding from his nose the rest of the game. So it would probably make it an effort to fucking breathe. But those three guys, as Doma mentioned, I don't think they have bad game, and they will have to have a bad game to give the Pies a chance. So I just don't see that happening.
All the credit to Frothy's mate. He did dominate Buddy. Yeah, all the credit to him. DeVille wants to know how hard are you launching into Josh Ward cards?
Josh Ward's probably like a top 8. I was quite impressed with Josh Ward. His disposal sucked a little bit, but his numbers were good and he can obviously find it. So if he's able to settle and not get the bad case of the Paddy Dows, I expect him to have a really good second year.
Very nice. So tip Sydney for all of us for that one.
I'm going the Swans.
I'm going to tip the Pies.
Oh.
I'm going to tip the Pies.
I'm going against my Pies, who I've stuck true with for the whole season, pretty much.
So I'm going to pick them for the last 15 weeks.
I have. I don't like keep doing it, but I'm going against them. Maybe that's a good omen for Pie supporters out there. I'll tip against them and they'll get the win. But I'm going Sydney. I reckon they're looking great. They've just figured it out, I think, getting into finals. So
the Sydney system is just it's next level. Like, what team has a 1.5 year rebuild into like a genuine premiership window tilt? Like, it's crazy. They do it all the time.
Can you argue that Horse potentially could be one of the greatest, if not greatest, coaches ever?
Mate, probably the most underrated. Like, no one ever talks about John Longmire and the Coach of the Year sort of stakes, but yeah, they just get it done. That's all they do. That's all they've ever done. They just get it done.
Exactly right, and that's all you need to do, especially when it comes around to finals. Next one, and this is the big one. Will they fumble the Cats against the Lions? This is the big question that is on everyone's wait list, I think. So, Cats, Lions, over to you again, Butters, to start us off. Thoughts on this one?
Well, even though they've had the week off, and Geelong are historically very bad after a bye, which for some weird reason, but I've seen a lot of their key players are taking a very, very light duty week. So I think they're a little bit banged up from 2 weeks ago. Sometimes, depending on the team, sometimes taking the bye during the finals can hold momentum. I think for a team like Brisbane, they will put up their best showing just because of the level of belief they'd have after the previous 2 weeks, beating Richmond, who everyone wrote them off, beating Melbourne, who everyone wrote them off, and here we are again, probably saying that, Geelong's just going to walk their way through to a grand final. So it will be interesting. I'm sure underdog will be written on Fagan's wall. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see how it plays out.
Saucy.
Yeah, look, I'm going to stick with Geelong because I have been saying for a number of weeks now, and even leading into finals, that Geelong is the team to beat, I believe. I think they're playing the best all-round football. I think they've figured it out that they don't let games get away from them. They're very good at, not letting teams get out to 4, 5 goal leads, bringing it back, gets out to 4, they bring it back to 2, they're able to find ways back into the game. I think they've changed up their game style to understand that what they were doing in previous seasons, that sort of chip mark game style, a la, Alistair Clarkson and Hawthorn in their heyday, they used very well. It just doesn't stack up in finals football, and you really need to have a pressure and forward half game, and I think they've fixed that in their system this season. And I think if they stick to those systems and play a 4-quarter effort, I think, Brisbane, if I was Brisbane, I'd want to come out and get the jump on them because, obviously being off the break, maybe you're a bit, slow to start the game. Maybe you can get the jump on them. And I think that may be their way into the game. If they get the jump on them, maybe kick the first 3 or 4, 5 of the game and get out to that sort of lead early on. But if it stays a tight game, I'm backing Geelong in to win it. And I think they'll win by probably 2 goals.
It does feel different, I agree, compared to previous years. There's something, I don't know, through the home and away, they've managed players really well, and they have a genuine next man in sort of mentality, and they always get the best out of their players. And Tom Stewart's probably going to determine whether they win or lose on Saturday. He's just next level, really good. He's probably the best back in the league, in my opinion.
I like it. I'm going to go with the Cats. Your analysis has been great, you two. So there's nothing more I can say, but I think Tom Stewart is going to be a big key. And I've been saying it probably since round 8. I said they should probably just throw a tag onto Tom Stewart and try and get him out of the game. Because if they
towards the back end, they were. But they were still winning. So it just shows how good a system it is. It's crazy.
So I'm going Cats. Saucy's going Cats. And Butters, you are going...
I'm going for the Cats. I think it'll be a Cats Pies final, and Melbourne will be disgusting for a week.
It could be very feral, especially if the Pies get the job done. But that's pretty much it. If there's any questions, please fire them away. We are going to do this again in the lead up to the big dance next Saturday. Butters, once again, thank you very much for jumping on. First time.
Thank you very much.
Lockie says he has questions. Quickly fire them away.
None of them good.
Potentially.
Former Melbourne development ruck Lachlan Filipovic. Here we go.
So the Cats' record coming off a bye doesn't come into account.
I did say that they were historically bad after a bye. So, yeah, and they've shown that they can go down in prelims. They've played in, I don't know how many of the last 10 years prelims, but it feels like a lot of them. And they've only been in 3 finals. So, yeah, definitely comes into account.
Lockie's put in the I'd like to know.
Oh, no.
No, he can't. You got to put it in, mate. Come on. This show is completely uncensored. So you got to tuck it in. You can call me a fuckhead for all I care.
FML, I thought this was your thread. Oh, God. That just goes to show the level of viewer.
There you go. Very funny. All good. All right. Done and dusted. Thank you, Butters, for jumping on.
No worries.
No. That's great. I've lost my train of thought here. There you go. You can follow Butters at the Butters Collection. I will tag him in this. This live will be saved and on our page. It will also be ripped for audio and put up on our podcast channel. So thank you once again, Butters. Saucy, as always, it's a pleasure. I'll see you later on tonight for the pod.
Thank you, gents.
See you, boys. Have a good one.
Double coverage. Peace out.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking All Sports, Double Curve.